I know some of the mothers at the school and the teachers have learned about my profession here. I get looks at school. The principal won't even talk to me. She's like, won't even talk to me. I think she's upset. I think she's upset with me.
Yeah, I told some family members at a little family reunion thing one time. They're like, "What? You got to tell me what it is. Tell me what it is."
And you're like, ah. It's called the Conan O'Brien Show. It's called Dr. Phil. Check it out on your favorite podcast provider.
One of them said, "Yeah, I listened to that podcast," and then that was it.
That's all they said. I know. That's when you know that they haven't instantly become a fan of yours. Is when they go like this. I listened to your show. You did? Yeah. Yeah. I did.
I did.
Yeah, I did. I can say that. I can say with 100% honesty. I listened. What'd you think? I heard it. But it was coming through my stereo just fine.
Interesting.
Yeah. When I pressed play, it came on.
My sister's. That's who it was. It was my sister. My sister's in-laws. At Thanksgiving, she was like, "I listened to your show." I was like, "You did?" Great. Okay, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Okay, gotta go get some more wine.
You don't know what to say in that moment, because I've had those moments too where I'm like, people will come up to you and they'll be like, "Hey, I listened to your show," and I'll be like, "Oh, wow, I had no idea. Thanks for listening," and they'll be like, "Yeah," and then they say nothing else, which means they hated it. It sucked. They're probably like, "You two obnoxious morons talking about whatever, Brian's ass juice or whatever." Another one of Brian's stories. Hey, they probably think the same thing all the YouTube listeners do. When is he going to shut up and let Krissy talk? So one time I did my best to try and keep my business partners away from the show.
Okay.
We all did. For a little while there, it was just like a big secret.
It was.
If you knew about it, you knew about it. If you didn't, you didn't. And at least in our circle.
I like to prefer to think about just all the people in Denmark.
Yes.
I did not know.
Because for the first 2 months, only Denmark was listening. Yeah. And I agree with you. Like, you step lightly into these things because you realize that once you put them down, and send them out there, they're never coming back. You can try, but they're never coming back. There's always going to be a copy out there somewhere, And so I never told my business partners at all.
Yeah.
I still haven't told them until about 2 months ago, when one of my business partners, who I see, he lives here in Atlanta. A couple of them live out of state, so it's easier for me to kind of, I don't really interact with them too much. But he after a meeting one time, he said, "Oh, I listened to your podcast," and I was like, turned red instantaneously, because he is like the exact opposite of me. He's older. He's extraordinarily conservative. He's Mr. Business, right?
Okay.
And I was like,
how'd you find out about that?
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know. My wife was Googling your name or something like that. She's like, well, everybody does it. So, we all do it.
That's
right.
True.
And so that part didn't surprise me. And he goes, "Yeah, I listened to your show. And, we
can't work together anymore."
Well, no. Okay. These two officers want to talk to you. I'm calling all my money back. So he says, "Listen." He goes, "Yeah, listen. It's interesting. It's not my speed, but it's interesting. I could see why some people might think it was good." He was just straight up honest with me.
Okay.
So a couple weeks later, he starts talking about how's the podcast doing? I noticed you guys have commercials in there. You guys make a lot of money doing that. And I was like, no, not really. It covers the cost of the shows. We make a little bit of money. Hopefully that's the goal, is it down the line, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
He starts talking about all one of these conservative podcasts that he's listening to, right?
Okay.
I won't mention by name, but he says, this guy's making like $100,000 a month just on his Patreon and da-da-da-da-da. And, I looked into it, and he says, the thing about podcasting is not everybody can do it. If you got to really have a good point of view, and if you're just one of those people who just keep on talking and talking and talking and like never shut up, it just gets boring after a while. And I knew he was directing that shit directly at me, and I just kind of ignored it. He's never given the podcast a compliment, and he's only quietly, given the podcast criticism, right? But that's the hard part about doing this show, is that we want to talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, but you're correct. And kudos, I have to say, kudos to you, Brian, and to me. some
to both
too.
of us. Yeah, it's our
both
show
of us.
together.
That we have a fresh show each week where we just talk shit.
Yeah.
Because that's hard. Most of the other podcasts that I listen to are specifically about
one topic,
a murder, or a crazy family situation. Like it's a full story, and you listen, and it's maybe like 9 or 10 episodes.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that I listen to besides us that are like funny and topical and whatever. So.
Well, improv comedy, which is the category that we're in.
That's true. Okay.
Is one of those categories that where there are a lot of people that do this kind of rap, right? They go back and forth. They pick just random topics and they talk about it because they're friends or because they're comedians or because they have some interesting point of view. But there are many podcasts out there that have a singular focus: parenting, sci-fi, whatever,
Right.
Star Trek, and there's riches and niches also. But to do that for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes, like I know a guy who does a Harry Potter. He's been doing Harry Potter for like 7 years. He's been doing a Harry Potter podcast every week about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Right. And I just don't think I could do that. No. And so, just to give a little insight into the podcast as we move into season 3, as we're here at season 3. One of the things we have done a lot of is we've done a lot of like, video reviews and stuff like that, right? And in season number 3, I think we'll pull back on that a little bit because I am more interested in the interaction here at the desk, right at the table.
Our desk,
Then I don't want to do a Bigfoot video every week. Right. I think that then we do start to move into a category. I don't want to do a video every single episode because then I do think we start to move into a category and we may be beholden to it long down the road.
That's true.
So in other words, people might go, oh, they didn't do a video today. What's wrong? Right.
No, we got to keep it fresh.
When I find an absurd video or a topic, now you can watch it with us too on YouTube.
At least I do have to say once a month have to do the Bigfoot chasers.
Listen,
my favorite.
We're not pulling
They're
back
my
that much.
favorite.
We're going to do a number of them a month. We have 8 episodes a month. We'll probably do 3 at least with some kind of absurd video that we get to review and watch. They are my favorite too. And there are some new ones out there. I got to tell you. Yeah, those hunters.
Monster hunters.
There's what a bunch of dum-dums.
I mean, they're on a major network and getting paid to do it.
They are.
So,
and
go ahead, boys.
What if we did for TCB in the studio? What if we did an episode where we actually went somewhere and tried to Bigfoot hunt? Didn't you and I go to... Oh, no, that was me and Cam.